Yo, it's been crazy. Absolutely crazy hearing everyone's like response to what I've been talking about. These past few cups have been all about being a dad and like all that different stuff. And it's been really cool to see the dads come out in spades and be like, dude, totally. Like the time thing resonates. And so I think something that was really rad that I read was like, one of the dads is like, I have a ton of stuff that I do throughout the day, and these handhelds have been like a saving grace to me and have been like a complete and utter godsend. The Ally X he was talking about was such a huge thing. A lot of guys out in this community are deck daddies, and so the Steam Deck has also been a huge thing for a lot of us, as well as the Nintendo Switch obviously has been that. But I think that moving into like the next season of my life, I'm really leaning into this portable papa kind of lifestyle. I've really been leaning into it pretty hard over these past, I'd say, like couple of weeks, truly. Life has been getting really like complex lately. Just my kid's getting older. There's more school stuff happening. She's actually starting to do different activities. And so being the at-home parent, which coffee is this? Oh, this isn't the one I wanted. I want a different one. This is I want the Columbia. Let me get the Columbia real quick. Oh, there it is. Strawberry jam, dude. This is going to be so cool through the AeroPress. By the way, if you want AeroPress recipes, hit me up on Discord. Discord link is in the description. Bunch of dads just trying to get a few minutes. And also the Discord's really cool too. And then we'll get back to the talk because it is so many like-minded dads in there and non-dads, but people who just understand the idea of like, we're just trying to enjoy this hobby, and there are other people to do that with you. So super fun to join Discord. It reminds me of like the 2002 AIM chat rooms that you used to build with your friends. Pretty dope. Now, if you don't know what an AIM chat room is, I'm not even going to explain it to you. You can go ahead and look that up. But anyway, these past, this past couple of weeks, really leaning into the portable stuff and like kind of finding my voice again. I've been really doing some reflection and stuff like that. I have realized that the chase of the YouTube stuff and being a YouTuber massively influenced my gaming and like trying to kind of gut check, and like be like, no, I play video games and the YouTube aspect of things is just like a cool like a happy accident that I get to do YouTube as well. But when it comes to gaming, like originally I was like really, really gung-ho on the PlayStation 5 Pro. And I still think the PlayStation 5 Pro is a cool device, and it certainly will grant a lot of people fun access to better looking games. But I'm like really evaluating my gaming life and how I've been gaming lately. And I just, if I'm like allowing myself to love what I love and not force myself into playing Space Marine 2 or Baldur's Gate 3 or these big games that are like topping the charts. If I'm just like, no, dude, I'm going through Skyward Sword and like the whole Zelda series on Twitch, which I am, twitch.tv/JDXCoffee. I'm trying to go through the whole Zelda series, and I'll be making videos after each game kind of talking about what the game was all about. Still on the fence whether I'm going to go chronologically or if we're going to go release order. Why don't you let me know in the comments what you think? But that being said, if I'm going to allow myself to love the things I love again, is maintaining PlayStation 5, going to PlayStation 5 Pro because I'm trying to hold on to views in that category, or is it because I truly feel like the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to grant me access to games in a better way as I progress through this and as I kind of change my mind and understand where I'm at in all this? And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh man, the PlayStation 5 Pro is such a great idea for some people who are like, dude, there's no way I'm going to be getting a gaming PC. There's no way I need to play any other games but these, 5 to 20 remastered, better looking game titles that exist now with the Pro upgrade. I just want to play PlayStation. Like, if that's the case, which I talked about, like, there are people who buy just Xboxes to play one game. Like, I think the PlayStation 5, if someone's like, hey, I'm buying the PlayStation 5 Pro to play one game, I'd be like, yo, that's great. That's what it's for. It's for that. And some people are like, dude, you're crazy for saying that. I'm like, no, dude, when you realize that people like fathers that that guys that are just trying to hold on to their hobby the best they can, like having something that does the one job the best possible. And someone's gonna be like, dude, PCs can do it better. Sure, but it's undeniable that a console will do the one job it needs to do just quickly and effectively, and you don't get to think about it. And like, people are like, oh, but you waste your money on the service, on the online service. I don't know, man. There's something called mental currency. Okay, let's talk about mental currency for a second. Okay, so there is the idea of decision making and stuff like that, but there is a mental currency that exists. And so let's just say that overall you're spending $40 a month on subscriptions, okay? And then over the course of a year, that is $480. So let's round it up. $500 a year in subscriptions, right? And so for $500 a year of subscriptions, do you think that the amount of dollars, that's roughly $1.20 a day? Do you think that the dollar amount that exists, or maybe like $1.40 a day, $1.40 is worth the mental clarity? Is $1.40 worth the mental clarity? To some people, they would say, no, I don't like that. I don't think I think it's a waste of money, and I'd rather spend that $1.40 a day elsewhere in other places. Totally viable. But when it comes to mental currency and the gaming aspect, if I have to figure out like when to change diapers, when to cook meals, when to work out, when to do this, when to do that, how to keep myself healthy, how to make sure that my house doesn't smell weird because we have a cat that sometimes throws up in the house. Like, if I have to do all that and I have to make decisions on like, am I going to work out or am I going to finally clean the oven, right? I think that spending $1.40 a day to have my online service and then a machine that when I finally get an hour at 11 p.m. at night and I decided to stay up till midnight irresponsibly, I don't have to worry about anything. It just will do it. And also another thing that is really, I would say, arguably more valuable than a free online service is the fact that the expectation that the device is going to continue to do what I ask it to do without any sort of mess. I'm not going to have to worry about reformatting. For the most part, it can happen. And all of these things are exceptions to the rule, right? Exceptions to the rule. How often are you going to have to reformat your drive because there's some sort of corrupted file and it completely compromises your OS? Probably not often, if ever. That's super unlikely. But I will say this. The peace of mind knowing that after having to be elbows deep in cleaning toilets all day, I can hear the beep of my PlayStation 5. It's updated my games while it was asleep, and the game that I was playing just 4 weeks ago is waiting for me to play it, and that's all that device does. There's something about that, and that $1.40 a day for those multiple subscription services starts to be really, really worth it. I know that might be a controversial take, but I think that mental currency, holy good Lord Almighty, that's good. Holy cow, that's good. Oh, I can drink so much of that coffee. Can't afford to drink so much of it because it's like $30 for 10 ounces, but it's worth it. That is liquid gold, dude. Some think that liquid gold means oil. No, we're talking about a different liquid. We're talking about this liquid gold coffee. Oh, also, if you want a free bag of coffee, there's a trade link down below. You get a free bag of coffee if you sign up for the first time. And also, I get a free bag of coffee. So, like, it's essentially like us going into a coffee shop and they're like, hey, you want to try our coffees? And we're like, yeah. And then they give us both a free bag of coffee. It makes it so that I don't have to pay for coffee and you get a free cup, free bag. And if you need help dialing it in like some sort of recipe, you have to join the Discord and we can talk about it. And I'll help you dial in your recipes and give you different AeroPress recipes. Okay, cool. Subtle plug out. Someone complained that I talked about coffee on one of these videos. They're like, hey, man, save the ad for elsewhere. It breaks up the flow of the thought. Yo, dude, I don't even know where I'm going when I start these videos. I kid you not. Like, for the most part, and it may show, and this may turn some of you guys off, when I sit down to record one of these, literally, sometimes the 25 minutes is triggered by one singular comment Other times I'll look in my office and I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember thinking about that. And I'll pray to God that I can get out of the thought process by a 20-minute mark. Otherwise, it's just going to be a ramble. That's what this is. This is truly a flow of consciousness. Like we were sitting down, having a cup of coffee, and you asked me a question, and I'm just like, yeah, let's talk about it. Like that's what this is. There's no script. I try to articulate the best I can, but like, dude, I'm just a dude slamming coffee while my kid's sleeping and I hold a microphone, dude. Like that's literally what this is. Okay. So to talk about coffee in the middle of my thing, I'd be honest with you, man, that's part of the gig, bro. If we were sitting at a coffee shop and I was talking to you about like Magic the Gathering and all of a sudden I went, and I said, and yeah, that build, oh my gosh, this coffee is delicious. Like, dude, that's like 3/4 ADHD, 1/4 like passion for coffee, bro. Okay. So let's get back to the topic at hand, which is, from what I understand, I was talking about the handheld gaming and mental currency. You see that weave, dude? That's a weave, all right. I was weaving it in and out, dude. Oh yeah. Shout out to the weavers. Getting back to it, like mental currency, I think it buys me peace of mind. And this was something I learned early on. I definitely did it disproportionately. I would spend more money than I should, thinking I was granting myself peace of mind. And then later down the road, I'm like, cool, I'm in debt. There's no peace of mind with debt. But when it comes to like these services, there is like, yes, you can play a game like Warhammer, Space Marine 2. I use it because it's just, I thought about it because I was just talking about it. But Space Marine 2 online for free with Steam. Sure. Steam has more sales more often. I wouldn't say that you can't buy the games for that price at some point on PlayStation or Microsoft stores. I think that they all have sales at certain times, but Steam historically has more sales more often, and you can go to third-party sites and buy stolen or mass-purchased CD keys, right? You can do that as well. Those kind of things are harder to do for like Xbox and PlayStation. You can, also steal the game itself and just like rip the ROM. But all that to say, the games themselves, like, yes, I have to spend a minimum of $10 a month to play any of those games online. Some people think that's insulting and that it's archaic. I think that it potentially is annoying, sure. But again, for that whatever amount, because they all do this tier pricing, like, oh, spend $70 a year. For whatever amount it may be, I'm buying peace of mind. And I think that really is what being a casual niche gamer, what using like console for equipment is. Notice that the narrative has changed tremendously. I'm not saying console gamer. I'm saying casual niche gamer who uses gaming consoles as their equipment, because I think this console versus PC nonsense has got to stop, because it's not what it used to be, right? This isn't a one is better. It is which type of gamer are you, casual, enthusiast, or niche, and then what kind of equipment lets you achieve that gaming experience that you want, right? Some people are casual gamers who use their work PCs to play, whatever one game they want to play a couple times a week. I'm not going to say that a casual gamer is on console only. That's just not true. It's like saying a casual gamer only plays on Nintendo. Dude, I know people who are hardcore gamers who play for multiple hours a day, 2 to 3 hours a day. I would consider, certain YouTubers hardcore gamers, and they play on Nintendo Switches. Like, I don't think that a certain console makes you a hardcore or not hardcore gamer. I know people who have 1,000 hours of Fortnite just on Nintendo Switch. Now, are you going to be able to perform better on a higher frame rate PC? Maybe, but if you're playing a certain game for a couple hours a week and you're in it, like, cool. Also, I do think that maybe casual, hardcore, enthusiast, all that stuff, I think that all of it is just self-prescribed. Like, you decide who you are, what you are. And truly, it doesn't matter. Who cares if you play for 1, 2, 5 hours a day? Like, if you're getting all your responsibilities done and you have the time to do so, who am I, dude? Some people, they work on their cars all day long. Some people, they're artists and their art takes over their lives. They sacrifice everything, their family, they neglect everything, right? And some would say art is good for your brain, but then also they use it as a crutch and it becomes an idol in their life. So it really, all things can be good and all things can, all things can be bad. I don't think all things can be good. All things can be bad. All right, water keeps you alive, but you drink too much, you'll die. All right, alcohol is never good, right? Some people are gonna get pissed on that one. Whatever, dude. But mental currency, dude, it's like such a huge thing. And that for me, using gaming consoles grants me that. And in thinking about mental currency, I'm also thinking about decision making and decision fatigue is something we've talked about at length and we'll talk about over and over again because it's kind of infiltrated a lot of our day-to-day lives. But really the biggest thing about decision fatigue that I think is options. Some people, I just talked about this on stream the other night. If you want to join streams, they are mostly Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, but during nap time, sometimes I will stream as well. So if you're followed, you'll get that notification. But continuing on, we just talked about like the device I've been using. It's not out because it's over in the other room because I was playing it on the couch, but the Mod Retro Chromatic. And I was talking about how much fun I've been having playing the Mod Retro Chromatic, and someone asked if you were to be given one of or the other for free, would you get the Analog Pocket or the Mod Retro Chromatic, which I think is a very fair comparison. Mod Retro Chromatic is a like-for-like scale of a Game Boy Color with a better display, but it has the same pixel density. So you're just getting the Game Boy Color experience, but in 2024 with a very, very well-designed piece of machinery. That's all it is. There's nothing additional. There's not a bigger screen. It's the same color screen. It is what it is. Okay. And the Analog Pocket, similar in price, maybe $20, $50, $70, depending on which edition you get more, or if you get the metal one, like $450 more. Like, come on. But whichever edition you get, the Analog Pocket can do everything the Mod Retro can do, except it can do more. And it upscales the image to, I believe it's a 1440p image in that small display. It allows you to do, with the dock, for another $100, you can do a bunch of other things with it, which you can sort of do that with the Mod Retro through USB-C, but it's not made for that. I said Mod Retro. And that's not because I have it. If I was given one or the other, I would choose the Mod Retro for one very specific purpose. And I think that this is where I have been able to have some of my gaming reborn and why I am second guessing my pre-order for PlayStation 5 Pro. Just second guessing it. I haven't made any decisions yet. Just bringing you along for the ride. It's a dumb product. And I need more dumb things in my life. The unfortunate reality with smart products is the algorithmic infection has made its way into every part of every life. Whether it's with your music choices and it delivering music that it thinks you might like, to video choices where you no longer get to choose who you watch, but it chooses for you regardless of subscription or not. So I don't ask you guys to subscribe. Feel free to, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, subscribe and like. Dude, if you feel compelled, great. If you don't, you just want to watch these unsubscribed, hey, we cool, dude. I'm just here to talk. You don't have to subscribe to your buddy when you go and sit at a coffee shop and talk with him, right? Maybe you will because you don't want to miss, but I'm not going to sit here and ask for any of that. Okay? But the algorithmic infection has made its way into everything, even gaming, the For You pages, all of that stuff based on your previous purchase. And really, I think that it's become somewhat predatory. Sure, there are instances in which you discover something new because of it, but realistically, the main purpose of something like that is to try to induce you into some sort of purchase, right? There's no eShop on the Mod Retro Chromatic. Now, there is no eShop on the Analog Pocket either, but there's no emulation on the Mod Retro Chromatic. The device itself is intended to play either the Chromatic games that are being developed and released monthly by them, or not developed by them, but released monthly by them, or to play old Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. My only complaint, well, let me rephrase that. My one of few complaints about the Chromatic is I just wish it was able to play Game Boy Advance games, only because I like Game Boy Advance games. That's it. That's not a flaw against it. It's not supposed to. It is a Game Boy Color. That's like me buying a Game Boy Color and be like, oh man, I'm bummed this can't play Game Boy Advance games. Well, I bought a Game Boy Color, right? And the Analog Pocket can. But I don't need it to. Because the Chromatic serves a very specific purpose. And when I go to turn on that device, there's no mental currency. Zero. Because I know that when I flip that switch on the top and I hear the chime of the game, I am going to be playing Pokemon Yellow in the truest form. There's not going to be a ROM hack. Sure, may develop some quality of life improvements, but I'm not looking for that. There's going to be no choices for me to switch Games, because I have 450 Game Boy games on one SD card, there's going to be no decision to change the colors, to change the filter. There's nothing. The game is being given to you and it's saying play it. It is the closest you can get to playing a board game. With board games, you're not sitting there going like, oh, let's see here. Do I want to make sure that this person looks like, maybe if you're playing D&D, but that's a very different game. I want dumb products. I want dumb gaming, and I want that kind of experience. And while multiplayer games, and I'm not saying that the internet is ruining gaming, right? Maybe content creation might be, but what I am saying is that when it comes to choosing your equipment to play video games, for me, my choice is I value when a device doesn't tell me more than, I want my device to say, yes, sir. That's what it is. I don't want my device to say, yeah, but have you considered? It's like, no, shut up. Do the job I asked you to do, which is give me my game. That's what the transaction should be with gaming. Part of the reason why I love Nintendo so much is they're so bad at creating an online shop that, like, I don't even want to go in there. I don't want to know what's recommended for me. I don't care to buy digital games from them. I'm going to buy physical games, no longer from Amazon, because Amazon can suck it. Amazon's the worst. And I'm going to buy them from local stores, whether it's, a GameStop preferably, or Target or something. That's it. It's as simple as that. If the game is only online or only digital, I'll reluctantly go into the eShop and buy it. But, like, as it stands, dude, like, when you go to turn on a Switch, dude, you're just going to play whatever game's in the cart holder or whatever digital games are downloaded. Same thing with the Steam Deck to a certain extent. The Steam Deck, the eShop is, or their Steam store is just really easy to access. So, like, that's there. But I give Steam a pass because that experience is so good. The experience is like, I want to continue playing Sea of Stars, which I've started. I just like turn it on and go. Like, this portable gaming, this console gaming style, or this gaming on console, not console gaming, this gaming on console style of maintaining my hobby has just been so special. And, like, thinking about it more, I realize that it's special because when I have those moments, there's so little in the way. And the mental currency required is well worth the $140. That $140 to know that every time my game is gonna run, let's just go. Let's just do it. I mean, with Nintendo, it's $70 a year for your family plan, or $80 or whatever, and you're getting so many great games like Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, and they're adding to them all the time. Like, that kind of thing, great. For PlayStation, the $9.99, well, I spend the premium once a year, like, to get access to all those additional titles. Cool. I don't know if I'm really, like, into that as much anymore. And honestly, as I consider more, like, how much more PlayStation will I use? I don't know. I currently own all of the Final Fantasy games on my Steam Deck, and I just spend so much less in this room than I originally thought I would. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if the PlayStation 5 was an impulse buy, ADHD purchase, a potential content idea, which honestly, I don't even know what kind of content I'm going to make with it because it's not that interesting to me. Oh, the PlayStation 5 works better than the Pro works better than the 5, or it's marginal upgrades. Like, how many of those are you going to watch? Right? I would just go on record saying the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to function better than the PlayStation 5. And it's going to be well worth it for individuals who think the PlayStation is the best console for them to own. I guess that's the review, dude, of the PlayStation 5 Pro. Like, as simple as that. That would be my review. I think that there's no instance in which the PlayStation 5 Pro isn't going to be better than a PlayStation 5. And for people who exclusively game on PlayStation, the PlayStation 5 Pro wouldn't be worth it. I don't think there's any instance in which that's the case. Some people may be like, well, it's a marginal upgrade, that $200. Yeah, but you're buying yourself more years of gaming at a higher performance level. That's a better experience. I think it's just long-term performance. That's all it is. Like, it's going to hold you for longer, right? I think, like, truly that's where it's at. But it just comes down to that experience. Like, what kind of experience you're looking for? What kind of mental currency are you looking for? Is the PlayStation 5 Pro, for the additional couple $100 it's going to be to buy that over a PlayStation 5, or the $700, you end up, let's just say you get $250 back, so you're spending around $500 for a PlayStation 5 Pro. Is that $500 over the course of the next 3 to 4 years, is that going to actually, which is like 50 cents a day, something around there, is that worth it to you? Is a couple quarters a day or a 50 pence or whatever you want to call them, is that a good investment for mental clarity? Are you going to be more excited to play your games? Or are you going to be sitting there turning on the game being like, man, I wish I had more, right? Or is that just FOMO, mentally trapping you, making you ungrateful? We got questions, more questions than answers, and that's why we do these things. I don't have answers. Please comment below and talk to me about it. Or we can have deeper conversations in Discord. Discord link is in the description. Or we can have live conversations on Twitch 4 nights a week where I just talk with you guys as I play through the Zelda series. Again, I want to know, would you guys be more interested? And just know that I'm going to make a decision based on what I want to do. So don't be offended if I don't consider what you say. But also know I consider what you say. So, okay. I'm going to finish this last cup of coffee and enjoy the rest of the silence that I get while my kid's asleep. It's going to be great. Okay. Play more and be kind.